Hi, and welcome to Drupal Brief. This is an AI-generated brief of another video, podcast, or blog post. If you want to learn more about what's being discussed here, then please go check out the source. This podcast is produced by the team at Drupal Forge. We would love to create more AI-generated briefs like this. Please contact Salim Lakhani on Drupal Slack or LinkedIn and let him know what else you want us to cover. Oh, and if you have not tried Drupal Forge yet, you're missing out. You'll be able to do twice as much in half the time. So go check it out. Okay, that's it. Make sure to click subscribe. And here we go.
Hey everyone. Ever get that feeling that building a website just involves way too much like clicking and typing?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like you should be focused on the bigger picture, and less on all that tedious stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's where AI agents come in.
Yeah, they're really shaking things up.
They really are. And today we're going to deep dive into how they're changing the game, especially for all of us in the Drupal world.
It's not just hype either.
Right.
This is way past that AI is the future kind of talk.
Exactly.
Like AI is here now.
It's the present.
It's the present, and it's already making a difference.
Yeah, and for this deep dive, we're going to be pulling from episode 485 of the Talking-Drupal podcast.
Great episode.
Yeah, they had some really sharp Drupal people on that episode, including Jay Calicut.
Oh, yeah, Jay.
Who has been building with Drupal, probably forever.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he is a huge AI advocate.
Yeah, and he's not just talking the talk either.
Right.
He's building tools like Drupal X.
That's right.
Which is like a decoupled Drupal starter kit.
Yeah.
That uses AI to help developers build sites faster.
So cool. But
Yeah.
before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a step back and just, break down what these AI agents actually are.
Okay, yeah, good idea.
The Talking Drupal folks, they define them as systems that interact with their environment.
Right.
And they collect data.
Yeah.
And then they use that data to perform tasks with less human intervention.
Less is the key word there. It's not like you just set the AI loose.
And cross your fingers.
Yeah, and hope for the best.
Right.
It's more like, having a really, really good assistant.
Right.
You're still in control.
Yeah, you're the boss.
You're the boss. But the AI can handle all of those, tedious, repetitive tasks.
The boring stuff.
The boring stuff. Yeah, that eats up all your time.
So less robots taking over the world and more robots doing our boring work so we can focus on creative things.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that kind of the idea?
That is a great way to put it.
Okay, good.
Think of it this way, you're working on a Drupal site and you need to create a ton of product variation. Instead of manually clicking through each option.
Oh, yeah?
You just tell the AI agent, make me variations of this blue shirt in sizes small, medium, and large.
Oh, that's great.
Boom, done.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, you saved yourself a bunch of clicks and you can move on to something more interesting.
Okay, so that's a pretty simple example, though. Can these AI agents actually handle more complex tasks within Drupal?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Imagine you're adding a new field to a content type.
Okay, yeah.
This is going to impact a bunch of your existing content, but how much,
Right.
instead of digging through your database or whatever,
Yeah.
you can just ask the AI agent to run a report on, how many pieces of content will be affected by the change.
Okay.
It'll analyze your content model and give you the exact data you need
Wow.
to plan your migration.
So it's not just saving time, it's also having that, information at your fingertips that would normally take forever to get to make.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it is. And there's actually a specific Drupal module that brings this power directly into your workflow.
Oh, okay.
It's called the Drupal AI Agent Module version 1.0.1.
Okay. The name itself sounds a little intimidating.
I know.
Is this only for super technical Drupal developers?
Not at all.
Oh, good.
It's actually been getting way more stable with recent updates.
Okay, good.
It even powers the AI chatbot in Drupal CMS 1.0.
Wow.
And plus, it's designed to be user-friendly.
That's good.
Yeah. It has 3 main agent plugins.
Okay.
Each one focuses on a different part of Drupal.
Okay, so there's one for fields, one for content types, and one for taxonomy.
You got it.
Okay.
So the field type agent, that lets you do things like create new fields or edit existing ones, or even just get answers to questions about fields using the Drupal field API.
So it's like a dictionary almost.
Yeah, kind of
Yep.
like having an encyclopedia of fields at your disposal.
Very cool.
The content type agent is similar, but it focuses on node types. And then the taxonomy agent, that one helps you manage your site's vocabularies.
Okay, all right. I'm starting to see the potential here.
Yeah.
But it still sounds a bit abstract.
Sure.
Can you give me a real-world example of how someone might use one of these agents?
Yeah. Let's say you're building a new content type for events.
Okay.
You could tell the content type agent, like, hey, I need you to create a basic event structure with fields for title, date, location, and description.
Okay.
And it would handle all that back-end configuration.
Wow.
Create the fields and even generate some sample content so you can see it in action.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
But what about that whole robots taking over fear that people have? Like,
Yeah.
how much control do I really have using this module?
Well, that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And the Talking Drupal folks actually brought that up too.
Did they?
They were like pretty blown away by the demos in Dry's Note showing the module in action.
I bet.
One host even said it was a total wish I could build websites like this all the time moment. But even with all that excitement, they still emphasize the importance of the review step.
The review step. What is that?
So before the agent actually makes any changes to your site,
Okay.
it shows you exactly what it's gonna do.
So you get to like approve it.
Yeah, it's like having a preview button for like your whole site structure.
Oh, see.
You can review everything, make sure it's correct, and then you give the final approval before the agent actually executes the changes.
Well, that makes me feel a lot better.
Oh, good.
So it's like, I'm not handing over the keys to my website to the AI.
No.
I'm just giving it the power to make my life easier.
That's the idea. It's about working smarter, not harder.
That's great.
Yeah.
So now that we've seen this module in action, what are some other ways AI agents could change how we work with Drupal, or even websites in general?
Well, think about this.
Okay.
Could an AI agent help a new Drupal developer quickly learn how to work with entity referencing?
Interesting.
Or what about generating a landing page?
Yeah.
With some dummy content just to get a project started faster. The possibilities are pretty exciting.
Yeah, it could change the game not just for seasoned developers, but also people who are new to Drupal.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But could these AI agents be used for things beyond just building websites?
Definitely.
Like what?
We're just scratching the surface here.
No.
Think
Right.
about content creation and management. Imagine an AI agent that's writing product descriptions or even generating social media posts based on your content.
Whoa. So it could be like doing my marketing for me.
Yeah, potentially.
That's a little mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing.
And a little scary.
Yeah, it's getting, of course, some people are worried about giving up too much control to AI.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is it like a training tool, or are we handing over the keys to the kingdom?
Right.
It's a valid question,
It is.
and one that we should definitely unpack.
Okay, I'm hooked. Let's dive into that.
All right, let's do it. But let's first consider the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Are AI agents coming for our jobs?
Oh, here we go.
Because, let's face it, if an AI can build a website or write marketing copy, like, what does that mean for us?
Right, that's the big question.
Yeah,
And I know the Talking Drupal folks had some pretty interesting thoughts on that.
they did.
Jake Calicott even had a pretty strong opinion, didn't he?
He believes that anything that can be automated will be automated.
Oh, boy.
It's not a matter of if, but when.
So does that mean we should all be panicking and, like, looking for a new career path?
Not necessarily. Jay actually encourages developers to embrace AI and stay ahead of the curve.
Okay.
He argues that developers need to evolve, just like graphic designers had to master tools like Photoshop to remain relevant.
So we can't just, bury our heads in the sand and pretend this isn't happening.
Exactly.
But if we're supposed to be embracing AI, what does that actually look like?
A good question.
What skills are going to be valuable in this AI-driven world?
That's a great question, and one I think we should explore further. I think it's less about knowing every single line of code and more about understanding the bigger picture.
Okay.
You wouldn't expect an architect
Right.
to lay every single brick themselves, would you?
No.
They design the building,
Yeah.
oversee the process, make
Yeah.
sure everything comes together.
So you're saying in an AI world, developers will be more like architects of digital experiences.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
We need to be able to think critically
Yeah.
about how to leverage AI to solve problems,
Right.
design systems, and
Huh.
make sure those systems align with our goals.
So it's more high-level thinking.
Yes, definitely a shoot towards higher level thinking.
And strategy.
Strategic decision making. Exactly.
That's a really interesting way to look at it.
Yeah,
Honestly, though, I still feel a little apprehensive about all this.
I get it.
It's like, if the AI is doing all the heavy lifting, what's left for me to do?
Yeah, that's a fair point. And that's something the Talking Drupal hosts touched on as well.
Oh, they did.
One thing they said was that AI, at least for now,
Mm-hmm.
is still very much a tool It's not going to replace human creativity or problem solving or the ability to understand those complex nuances.
It still needs us.
Yeah.
And so I guess the way I see it, we have two choices.
Okay.
We can either resist all of this change and risk getting left behind,
Mm-hmm.
or we can adapt and learn how to use these new tools to our advantage.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. And to be honest, I think that second option, the adapting,
Yeah,
is way more exciting.
I think so too.
Imagine being able to offload all those tedious tasks
Yes.
to AI agents.
Right.
Free up your time and focus on the things you really actually enjoy doing.
Right, the stuff we're passionate about.
Exactly.
Okay, you're winning me over, but let's not forget that AI isn't perfect.
True.
Like, what about the potential for mistakes or biases,
Right.
How do we ensure that these AI agents are actually, like, working in our best interest?
That's a critical point, and it's something we need to be super mindful of.
Yeah.
We can't just blindly trust AI to make all the calls for us. We need to understand its limitations.
Be aware.
Be aware of those potential biases
Yeah.
and always maintain some level of oversight.
So it's not just about learning how to use the tools. It's about learning how to use them responsibly.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that's going to require a new set of skills.
Like
Like being able to really evaluate AI output,
Uh-huh.
identify potential problems, and make sure that like ethical considerations
Right.
are being taken into account.
Okay, so this is definitely a lot to unpack.
It is,
And it seems like the implications go way beyond Drupal.
for sure.
How do you see AI agents impacting the wider web?
Well, for starters, think about how we interact with websites.
Yeah.
AI could potentially personalize content,
Okay.
tailor search results, and even anticipate our needs
Well,
before we even know what we need.
so instead of me having to search for something, the website would just know what I was looking for
Potentially, yeah.
and serve it up to me?
Exactly.
That's kind of amazing, but also a little creepy.
It's a double-edged sword. But it also has the potential to create a much more like intuitive and personalized web experience.
That's what you mean.
And that's just one example.
Okay.
AI agents could also revolutionize content creation,
Right.
automating tasks like writing product descriptions or generating social media posts,
Oh,
or
wow.
even composing entire articles.
You're saying writers might be out of a job?
Not necessarily. Remember, AI is a tool.
Okay.
It can help us be more efficient,
Yeah.
but it's not going to replace human creativity and storytelling.
Okay. That makes me feel a little better.
Good.
You know what I'm really curious about, though, is this whole idea of decoupled websites
Okay.
and how they might fit into an AI-driven web.
Yeah.
The Talking Drupal folks brought that up, and honestly, it went a little over my head.
Yeah, it is a fascinating concept.
Okay.
Think about it this way. AI agents rely on data.
Okay.
The more structured and accessible that data is, the easier it is for AI agents to, understand and work with it.
Okay.
And that's where decoupled websites come in.
Okay, but what does decoupled even mean in this context?
Okay, so a traditional website is like a tightly woven tapestry.
Okay.
The front-end presentation and the back-end data, they're all intertwined.
Uh-huh.
But a decoupled website separates those layers
Okay.
using APIs to connect them.
So it's kind of like taking a messy jumble of information
Yeah.
and organizing it into neat little boxes.
Exactly. And for AI agents, those neatly organized boxes of data are like a feast.
They love it.
Yeah, they can easily access the information they need,
Right.
understand it, and use it to perform tasks.
So decoupled websites might have like an advantage in an AI-driven web because their data is more AI friendly. Is that what you're saying?
You got it. It's not to say that traditional websites will become obsolete,
Right.
but decoupled architectures might offer a distinct advantage in an AI-driven world.
Interesting.
They provide a clear and consistent way for AI agents to access and process information,
Makes sense.
making it easier for them to be their magic.
Okay, I'm starting to get the bigger picture here.
Mm-hmm.
AI agents are already changing how we build websites.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like they're going to have an even bigger impact on the entire web as they continue to evolve.
Yeah,
It's both exciting and a little daunting.
it is. And honestly, I don't think any of us have all the answers yet.
Right.
We're all figuring this out as we go.
Well, that's what makes it so interesting, right?
Exactly.
We're on the cutting edge of something truly transformative.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe someday we'll look back at this moment and wonder how we ever lived without AI agents.
Right. Okay. Well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
Sure.
let's bring it back to our listeners.
Okay.
What does all this mean for them?
Yeah.
What should they be doing to prepare for this AI-powered future?
I think the most important thing is to stay curious.
Okay.
Keep learning Keep exploring and don't be afraid to experiment. This technology is evolving so rapidly, and the best way to stay ahead of the curve is to be an active participant.
Right, like be involved.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great advice. But I know some people are probably feeling overwhelmed by all this.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, where do I even start?
A good place to start is to simply become aware of what's happening.
Okay.
Read articles, listen to podcasts, attend webinars, anything that helps you understand the basics of AI and how it's being used in your field.
So knowledge is power.
Exactly. The more you understand about AI, the less intimidating it becomes.
Right.
And once you have that foundation, you can start exploring specific tools and resources. There are tons of great online courses, tutorials, communities dedicated to helping people learn about AI.
So even if you're not a developer, you can still learn about AI and how it might impact your work.
Absolutely. AI is going to touch virtually every industry in some way, shape, or form.
Wow.
The more you understand about it, the better prepared you'll be for the future.
Okay, I'm feeling a lot more empowered now.
Good.
But I do still have one lingering question.
Okay, shoot.
What about that whole robots taking over scenario? Is there anything in web development that you think AI will never be able to replace?
That's a really interesting question.
I know.
And I think it gets to the heart of what makes us human.
Okay.
Can AI ever truly replicate human creativity, empathy, intuition?
Those are some big questions.
They are.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it all unfolds.
Exactly. And that's part of the adventure, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're all writing this story together.
Well said, but for now we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a lot more informed and maybe even a little inspired.
Me too. It's been a fascinating conversation.
Yeah, and we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
We talked about what AI agents are, how they work their potential impact on Drupal, and even their broader implications for the web.
Yeah.
But most importantly, I think we've given our listeners a framework for thinking about how AI might impact their own lives and careers.
I hope so, and I encourage everyone to continue exploring this topic. There are so many resources available, and the more we learn, the better prepared we'll be to navigate this exciting new world.
Absolutely. And if you want to hear the full discussion from the Talking Drupal podcast that inspired this deep dive, we'll link to that in the show notes.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah. And if you have any thoughts or questions about AI,
we
would love to hear from you.
We would.
You can connect with us on social media or leave a comment on our website.
We're all in this together. The future of the web is being shaped right now.
That's right.
And we all have a role to play in ensuring that it's a future we can all be proud of.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
Sounds good.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of AI agents.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been an enlightening conversation, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds.
Me too. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning.
Yes.
And keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
See you at a digital frontier. You know, it's funny. We started this deep dive talking about AI agents as these super-powered assistants to build websites. But, they can be so much more than that.
Oh, no, absolutely.
It's clear that their potential...
We've only just scratched the surface of what's possible.
Right. And, as AI keeps evolving, who knows what incredible tools and capabilities are going to come out.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're standing at the edge of a new frontier.
Yeah.
And it's both exhilarating and a little scary.
It is.
I mean, think about how much the web has changed, even in the past few years.
I know, right?
Now imagine how AI could, speed up that change even further.
It really could. It's definitely a time of unprecedented innovation.
Yeah.
And as we've been talking about, it's super important to approach this new era with both enthusiasm but also a healthy dose of caution.
Right. We need to be mindful of the potential downsides, the ethical implications, the need to ensure that AI is used responsibly and for the benefit of all.
For the benefit of everyone. That's a good point.
So for our listeners out there who are maybe feeling a little overwhelmed by all of this, what's one key takeaway you'd want them to remember?
I think the most important thing is to just stay curious.
Okay.
Don't let fear or uncertainty hold you back from exploring this new world.
That's good advice.
The more you learn about AI, the more empowered you'll be to actually shape its future.
It's true. It's easy to get caught up in the hype or the fear.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, AI is a tool.
That's right.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It's up to us to decide how we want to use it.
I agree. The more informed we are, the better choices we'll be able to make.
Absolutely. So for anyone out there who wants to dive even deeper into this topic, we've got some great resources linked in the show notes, including the full Talking Drupal episode that got this whole conversation started.
Definitely check that out. They've got a great discussion in there about the Drupal AI agent module.
Yeah.
And they even share some real-world examples of how people are using it to build websites faster.
And better.
And better, exactly. And if you've got any thoughts or questions about AI, we'd love to hear from you.
We would.
Connect with us on social media or leave us a comment on the website.
The future of the web is being shaped right now.
It is.
And we all have a role to play in making sure that it's a future that we can all be proud of.
Well said.
And on that note, it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
Sounds good.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course.
On this journey into the world of AI agents.
It's been fun.
It's been a really enlightening conversation.
It has.
And I'm super excited to see what the future holds.
Me too. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning. And keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
I like to see in the digital frontier.
All right. What did you think? Did the AI-generated thing work for you? Let us know. Anyway, to close off this podcast, I just wanted to remind you that this brief was a fully AI-generated summary, and we take no credit for the original content. If you want more AI-generated summaries like this, then let us know. Contact Salim Lakhani on Drupal Slack or LinkedIn. By the way, we're automating the entire process from start to finish, so these briefs can be generated hands-free and on schedule. You want something else covered? We're happy to do it for you. This brief was brought to you by Drupal Forge. Drupal Forge is the new #1 platform to try, demo, and develop Drupal sites, and it is completely free to use. It is a community-supported nonprofit platform run by volunteers, just like yourself. Come join us.